Bling blue.
Oh, Jack Billy, calm it down.
That's Pack Billy, not Jack Billy. You pack ass.
Hey, we're live. You know,
I can feel.
oh, you know what? Copyright strike. Bam, right there. Oh.
Copyright strike. Bam, right there. Man, that was weird. What's happening?
That was the echo. It was picking up.
The Buddyman.
Shoot, what was I saying? Oh, you don't have it up on that one, do you?
What one? Have what up there?
YouTube.
I could. Why?
No, I said no. We don't want you to.
What do you mean? We're streaming right now.
No, listen.
Oh no, it's not. You mean
Okay.
no? It's not.
Yeah, I mean the channel. You don't have the channel.
Listen,
up.
this computer has more muscle than the old one, so it should be okay.
Well, yeah, but close it anyway. I don't want it to accidentally somehow start.
Yes, Brent. Close all.
Just close it all down. Shut down
Shut it
everything.
down. I was telling someone what I need to watch. Airplane 2 was Greg. Because here's why I watched like the first. I was like, people rag on Airplane 2. I was like, these people are fools.
Well,
great movie.
Here's the problem with Airplane 2, and it is. It's great.
Yeah.
It's not as good as the first one.
It's close, but yeah, you're right.
The problem is it reuses a lot of jokes from the first one.
If you ask all the guys that made it, they'll tell you this was the first environmentally safe film because they recycled.
I know,
but that's the plot is irrelevant.
I know.
And also, they get to use a lot of space stuff in it.
Right? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm saying they recycled a lot of jokes from the first film, and that.
Well, they didn't. They don't necessarily the jokes, but they premised the jokes.
Some of the jokes too.
You know, it had also Kirk was great.
Like the drinking problem, I don't have a problem revisiting that because that makes
the drinking problem. Hey, did you bring us anything else to put on the wall today?
No, I know. Listen, it's all coming. Okay, it's all coming.
I'm hoping somebody will show up in the chat room so they can tell us how it sounds.
Hey, sweetheart.
I've got to get the sound right, or I'll be killed.
Yeah, do we sound good, hun? You'll be brutally honest.
Be brutally honest, Terry. We need to sound good. We know we look good. That's funny because look on my shirt. Ancient Christian. Or at least in the 5-second pose.
Well, no, I didn't know that, but sure.
What does she say?
She hasn't responded yet.
She's not really listening.
Well, that's
she
very
put that
possible.
up and went in the other room. She's like, screw this. I'm not bothering.
Aaron's a little low compared to you again.
How's that possible? We're using the same mic.
Hey, well,
the same mic.
Maybe that means. You know what I think it is?
No.
Okay.
I'm loud.
When I talk, I face this way. I think when you talk, you face this way. And I think that matters.
What if I back this up a little bit and turn it kind of towards me? I can feel it, Terry. How about that?
You can feel a Terry?
I can.
I don't know how
I said it. That. I can feel it.
Oh.
Not her.
Well, that's why I was confused.
God. You got good.
I second that. It was different just then than she... Alec also admits that you are a little soft.
How is this possible? How? I'm right here. Right beside the microphone. I'll kill you. Especially you in the audience.
I'll kill you. I'll kill all of you. I'll kill you in the jury.
It should be crystal clear dynamic sound with a range that's to die for.
I do like the use of rubber band there.
That's right. I'm Rubber Band Man. Rubber Band Man. Remember that song?
No.
You are the epitome of joyless.
That's not true. I have lots of joy.
I'm bling back in my gimmick here.
I don't even know what that means. Also, don't talk into your paper.
Listen, I'll talk into whatever paper I want, and I'll have you know.
Exactly.
I got most.
You don't want the people to hear me.
I just ordered $800 million glasses.
Have you ever thought about cleaning your glasses?
They're scraped. This is the backup pair. Monday. Did you know?
What have you done with your... okay, no.
Let me explain.
Let's step back for a second. Okay? We both got our glasses online, right? Okay. Are yours older than mine at this point?
I was the first one. I told everyone else where to get theirs. I was like, listen, get them here. You can get them for free. I got 2 pair of glasses for free at the time.
Did you do it from Glasses USA?
I don't remember.
Oh.
My point is...
Not a sponsored stream.
I was moving, excuse me. I was moving a couch for a sucker. That's not nice. For a nice girl from work.
All
Monday.
right.
Me and my buddy and a couple other people.
All right.
And when we returned the couch over... we were putting it in a truck, and we turned it over. The couch, because I didn't know they were turning it over, it winged up. It smashed me in the face.
Okay.
It blacked my eye, and it smashed my glasses up against my face, like smeared them. They were unusable. So this is I went back to the backup pair again. Okay.
Okay. I have something. I have a question to ask.
Yes.
That's either going to make Terry very happy or very sad.
Yes.
Did you order bifocals?
Yes. I thought. Oh, did I order them? They're like the holy grail of bifocals. They cost me a ton of cash. Luckily, I had my WageWorks card.
Hun, you did it. You talked him into bifocals.
Well, to be fair, getting smashed in the face did it. It taught me into not having a pair of glasses I can see out of. So yeah, that's what did it. Oh yeah, make sure the hat's straight. You're a gimmick.
We know what?
Do
we have a symbol for the hat? That's what we need.
A symbol?
Yeah.
I've got an idea for a symbol, but I don't think it'd get over with the sensors.
No, our logo.
Listen, do you have hats ready to sell?
Yeah.
Because until you got hats ready to sell with the logo
No,
on
I
it,
mean this logo just taped on.
Listen.
like as jakey as possible.
That is jakey. Come on.
$400. Did you pay $400?
Someone watched the show. Clearly watched
Duncan Styles, yes.
Of course Duncan Styles knows.
Games.
Yes. I know, I'm complaining about my glasses again in the pre-show.
Hey, we already got a thumbs up, and it wasn't for me.
I'm telling you.
Bam! Now we get 2.
Listen. During the pre-show, first of all, we started the show by just absolutely pissing me off as hard as he could. And it was about this sound setup. He was just jabbing it in. Punch dagger to the back of the head. Then he turns on the camera, and I'm like, "But I'll kill you!" I'm screaming at him. Then we get to talk about these glasses, and I go on a 20-minute rant about how much I had to pay for these suckers because I'm blind. All right, so yeah, I've already talked about this once. I'm not gonna go into it again, but it was horrible week.
So
for glasses.
So what you're saying is,
I'm Poe. I'm super duper Poe.
Close, Steve, but more like controlled by a mouse, not as a main character mouse. Although we can always put the mouse game's pie piece back on the thing and give it another spin.
Just change the meaning. This time it has to feature a mouse. I mean, I know what I would pick right away.
So do I.
Would it be Mappy?
No, Mappy's what he mentioned.
Who is this?
Steve.
You're a genius, Steve. That's exactly the correct answer. What would you pick?
I would pick Mickey Mouse. It's
the Genesis game where he jumps around like a goof.
No, the NES game.
You would pick,
where he jumps around like
You're telling me that's better than Mappy?
No.
Okay. That's all I want to hear.
All right, you ready to get this thing going? Oh wait,
not really.
Terry is looking forward to the show after the glasses come in and you're actually able to see what you're doing. You can thank everyone publicly.
Yeah.
Man, she's giving it to you.
Everyone does. They don't realize my situation, financial, fiduciarily, wad-wise. That's a major league investment. I mean, I've bought 2 cars. See, I'm doing the rant again. I'm going to stop. But I've bought 2 cars that are cheaper than these glasses that I'm getting. So
was one of them the Citation?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a reason why.
The Citation and the Nova were both cheaper. They were one was $200, one was $250, I believe. God, those days are over, aren't they?
Oh yeah,
those were glorious days. Glorious for the cheap wad like me.
I feel like I'm sitting in the sun.
Hey,
bud.
Listen,
do you not have a sample of a mouse?
This is the price. Do we need a sample?
Well, some people might not.
I'll do it in post. Everything gets done in post. Or we got post. About that, something else he was hassling about. He called my post. He said you need to work on your sound. So that little gimmicky post production.
Nah.
I was like, I kill
I love
you.
your post stuff.
Oh, yeah. All right. We're gonna do.
Okay.
We'll do my game
Remember,
first.
we have user review. We've got to talk about.
We'll do that at the end.
Yeah, we got to talk about the arcade stuff. Also, I'm assuming at the end.
Yeah.
That way, people who don't want to sit through our extras can leave and make us all sad.
Extra. Remember that show, Hollywood Extra? Horrible.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah, but why?
How many shows come up to have extra in the title? That's the way my mind works.
That's how your mind doesn't work.
Take off it.
To the Great White North. Started to be
Here. I'm gonna ponder this. I'm just gonna go something generic. There's no way you can work mouse into the opening.
What?
There's no way you can do it. That's impossible.
Okay, wait. I have to think of a thing myself.
I had a great idea for a thing this week, but it pissed me off so much to actually implement it. It was a visual aid. Since we're having so much mic trouble, I was going to say my new idea is here, and I was going to get a couple paper cups with strings in them and change. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, then people would be like, "It sounds great," and then we'd have to do it all the time.
Hey, listen, you in the chat room. Is this better? Does this sound better than it has? We're getting killed here on the sound. We're trying to do better, so we brought out the heavy guns.
We
here.
believe that one of our I believe one of our mics was faulty.
Well, one of the mics is different than the other.
Yeah, I think one was faulty. So we've went back to Big Blue in hopes of rectifying our sound issues.
The good thing is there's no strings. You can literally get up and dance if you wanted to.
No one wants that.
Well, I'm just saying. I didn't say they did. I'm just saying that you could if you wanted to. I was gonna pour this in my cup, but I left my cup, back in Disneyland.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh man, I should have worn my Mickey hat.
Trust me, anytime you're involved, it's a Mickey Mouse operation.
You mean it's worth tons of money?
Hey, I'm gonna use
that.
I just came up with my opening. There it is.
That easy sometimes. Sounds okay to me. I'm on iPad speakers.
Good enough.
Terry says it sounds good to her. Alex says sounds good now, but fixed.
Come on. Give me no. I don't want accolades from you. I don't want a hand. Are you kidding?
I thought you were giving me Paul.
No. Okay. You ready?
You know what? We need to
raise the roof.
We need to raise the. I can't.
Something I noticed last night? I had the wheel sitting here, right?
Yeah.
And I was back there walking around, and the wheel looked enormous, and it looked like I could get my hands up. It looked like it was a
perspective.
It was really cool, actually.
Perspective thing.
I did that a lot. Just stood there and
I believe that. I just
stood there and fooled with the wheel. Can we start the show?
No. One last thing. Did you turn off the automatic lighting things for the camera?
It's off. It's off here.
Your neck?
Yeah, I slept. I've been sleeping, and I've had trouble sleeping correctly. There.
Oh yeah, look at that.
How's that?
Look at that.
Except your wheel pieces are hard to read.
Well, I can't do anything. I can do things over that, but I'm not going back and remaking stuff.
Oh my god! How are you?
We'll have to get it closer.
You heard it, fans. All right, you ready? Do you like the? I'm done talking to you.
All right, and you know where all the switches are and
what switches?
The scene switches.
Yeah, I'm the one to put them in there, yo. I do it every week.
Well, sometimes.
Did you just show up on the show?
What are we doing
here? I'm
here?
hitting the button. You ready? 3-second countdown.
Oh, wait. We should pose like Mickey. We should pose like
I can't. You pose. I'm not doing that.
Hold on. Gotta figure out what to be this way.
There you go. You ready? 3, 2, go. Hey. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a true Mickey Mouse operation here. It's ARG Presents. I am Amigo Aaron, joined by a man who is mousy and lousy, the Brent.
Whoa, I don't even know what that means.
You heard me. Lousy. It rhymes.
Isn't that like the delousing powder?
Yeah, wait, listen. I sincerely hope not. I don't need that. So, if you joined us last week, we spun the wheel. We made the improbable deal. And this week, we'll be playing games that are mouse-based. Brent, what do you know about mouse-based games? Have you played a lot of these?
Back in the day, I would play a lot of point-and-click adventures, which are usually mostly mouse-based. Where we kind of went the other direction, and we picked games that are completely mouse-based.
That's right. Now, this was a pie piece submitted by a listener.
Yes, Duncan Styles.
The dunk. So, before we get into the meat of the show, I did a little crazy, wacky research because you're thinking to yourself, what can you do? It's mouse-only games. Well, brother, I found something. I found an angle. So we're going to talk about systems that had a mouse that you probably wouldn't have expected to have. I'm talking consoles, brother, consoles.
I know something about that.
So, you know, it's surprising to me. Some of these really blew my mind. I'm not lying here. It was truly amazing. So we're just going to go over a few consoles that had mice. Now, obviously, computers had them, you know, for the most part. Now, when we were Utes, we didn't have no mouse, did we?
No.
The Coco had no mouse. I don't think there was ever even one available for the Coco that I recall. I'm sure you could have gimmicked one up.
Well, what would you have used it with?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe you could have found something. Eventually, of course, when we got into the PC, and Deskmate was there, and we had a mouse there. So
and the Amiga before that, even.
Sure. So these are some systems that you probably wouldn't suspect, and then maybe a few games for them. So now this one surprised me. These are in no particular order. Okay?
Sure.
The PlayStation, the Sony PlayStation had a mouse.
Yes.
And amazingly, this thing had a lot of games. Have you ever seen a PlayStation mouse?
I have not seen a branded PlayStation mouse, but I know they were used a lot in shooters, right?
Well, like there's examples are like Lemmings, 3D Lemmings that uses them. You can also use them, like most gun games that support the mouse.
Right.
The main mouse was the SCPH 1050. And it was very popular enough to where it appeared in over 75 games. You can use it in 75 different PlayStation games.
Of course, PlayStation had hundreds of games, but yeah.
I priced this mouse just in case you want to pick one of these bad boys up. You can get one today between $25 and $57 US.
That's a little pricey in my opinion, but all right.
Yeah. So another system that had a mouse, and it's again, I don't know if I just ever thought about it, but I mean, it had one, and that is the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive had a mouse. Did you know about that?
You know, I didn't. I don't know what it would possibly have been used for.
It was the Sega Mega Mouse. It easily has the best name of any of the mouse peripherals, the Mega Mouse.
If you're going to have a mouse, it might as well be a Mega Mouse.
Again, much like the other one, you get for shooting games, and also for like RPGs, like Eye of the Beholder, for example, will support it.
Neat.
This thing, it ended up being used in about 28 games.
Oh, that's pretty low.
Well, I'm just saying, it's something. Listen, you've got, what's that bazooka for the Super Nintendo?
The Super Scope.
Yeah, how many games was that involved in?
About 15.
And what about the track and field mat that we used to have for the NES?
The Power Pad?
Yeah, how many games supported that?
About 6,
and how many games supported that robot that packed in with it?
Oh, Rob?
Yeah.
3?
Okay, so 26 games for a peripheral is looking pretty good to me. You can pick up a Mega Mouse pretty reasonably between 12 27 buckaroos right now. Going to get one. Now we're getting into the weird zone here. All right. It was made. I listed it. So how many times have you been playing your N64 64 Double D, and you're like, man, if only there were a peripheral to meet my needs on this bad boy. Well, they made one. Yeah, I know. I was surprised. I mean, this was a marketed thing. Now, bear in mind that this thing only had 10 disc releases, the Double D. It never was released in the United States. And for those not in the know, and I'm sure most people are, the Double D was this, it was a floppy disk based unit that would hook into your N64.
Yes, it held more data than a floppy disk did, of course, but that was the gimmick.
But it also had a release of SimCity, which used the mouse. This was a mouse release. The N64 Double D mouse that was shipped with Mario Artist. So there were at least 2 games of the 10.
Okay.
Pretty good percentage.
Sure.
That you could use the mouse on. This mouse is still available if you've got a few buckaroos on you.
Oh, yeah, I'd imagine it's probably up
If you want to buy the mouse with the Mario Artist software, you're going to be paying between $79 and $330.
That's actually cheaper than I thought.
If you just want the mouse... All I want's the mouse. Who needs the rest of this crap? 112 buckaroos takes to the house. Not too bad.
Wow.
Now, here's one that I knew about, but never had. And I always wanted one. the Dreamcast.
Yes.
Which we spoke on.
Sure.
The Dreamcast had a whole bunch of crazy peripherals, which we went into last week. And of course, you had the fishing rod, and you had all the VMU weirdness. They had a bunch of stuff and guns, but it had a keyboard and mouse as well. There were 17 games that supported keyboard and mouse, and which I think that's okay. 17. And you could get a Dreamcast mouse pretty cheap right now for $20-$30. Just bad. An FYI, they make an adapter for the Dreamcast that lets you just plug in whatever you want.
Yeah.
So you could probably it's ironically about the same price, but still it lets you plug in any keyboard and any mouse.
Right.
So and it's they're available. That was probably the way to go. That way you don't have to actually buy it. I mean, if you like stuff branded, you know, I can understand.
I can understand it. Yeah.
Amongst the games you could play for it were Quake.
Yes.
Which was.
Makes sense.
Quake. It was Quake 3 Arena, which is a pretty good rendition. I think the only downside of that one, I don't believe you could play that one online. I don't think it supported the modem. I can't remember off the top of my head.
That'd be horrible.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. It had everything's got a price. So now, back into the realm of the bizarre, a system that we've touched on. I sort of own the PC Engine.
Yeah.
Now, the PC Engine CD had a zillion RPGs on it, as we determined.
Yes.
So you got to have a mouse, man. The mouse PI-PD is what it was called. This was used a lot on like turn-based strategy games, RPG games. But I mean, when I say a lot, it looks like they're out of the vast library of PC Engine releases, the mouse was supported in about 10 games.
Oh,
yeah.
Ouch.
So, you know, what are you gonna do?
You know, for the type of game that's on that system, I'm kind of surprised by that.
Yeah. Well, listen, I don't know what it was about the PC Engine, but they demanded you have no peripheral controllers. If you want one, screw you. And I believe this were also required to multi-tap to have because you have a joystick kind of thing. So you could get one of these mice boxed $30.
Wow.
Well, there's not that much demand.
Well, right.
And they're PC Engine, so, you know, as far as I know, the mouse didn't get a release in the USA. So, here's another one. This one blew me away, I gotta say. I'm not gonna lie to you. The Sega Saturn had a mouse. You know that? You were a big Saturn guy.
I was a big Saturn guy.
In America, it was the NetLink mouse, which was...
I didn't know about this.
It was going to be used for their
web browser.
Over in Japan, they had the shuttle mouse. All right. The mouse was used mostly in adventure games, or board games or strategy games.
Huh.
And but get this is what blew my mind. So, okay, now I looked at this list. It's a lot of a lot of the gun stuff.
Right.
The Saturn had over 100 mouse compatible games. 100. Got to get a mouse now for the Saturn, don't I?
Huh.
You can get a Japanese mouse for this thing between 13 and $27, and you can get a shuffle for between $7 and $46. The price is sort of all over the map.
All over the map.
But still under $50. You're in with a mouse. I couldn't believe the amount of action the mouse got on that.
That is kind of crazy for something that you never hear about.
Now this is topical. This next system. The Super Nintendo.
Yes.
The Super Nintendo had the Super Nintendo mouse.
Yep.
So basically, when you think of that, pretty much, what's the first game that pops into your head?
Mario Paint, of course.
That's right, Mario Paint. Now, have you played with Mario Paint before?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And
I've used the Super Nintendo mouse many, many times.
Right. Now, did you have one of these?
I did not.
Who had one?
No, I believe the Lilies were the ones
those
that
guys always had. They got everything. Of course, you could play a ton of stuff with this, including one of the games we're talking about in Japan. Civilization was in that game. You could play with it. There's a game called King Arthur's World.
There are about 75 games for it. Yes.
No, there are around 40 games.
No, that is untrue.
Around 40 games.
I'm talking about Super Famicom as well.
Oh well, I'm just talking about the Super Nintendo. There's about 40. It's about 40 games.
In Super Famicom world, there's about 75 total.
Now the Super Nintendo mouse, $6. And the funny thing is, they've got new versions of this mouse.
Yes.
So you can actually go buy a third party like knockoff mouse. Yes. You know, if you want.
And they look nice. They look nice.
So now we're getting obscure. All right, I got a few more here. Let's talk 3DO. Okay. I've got a 3DO setting up yonder. Now, the 3DO, not every version of the 3DO supported a mouse, but and some didn't support other mice. It's the typical 3DO.
That's the 3DO the way to go.
They released a mouse called the FZ-JMI. There weren't that many games that supported it. In fact, games you would expect to support it didn't support it. But Lemmings, Light Gun Games, Myst, Shanghai, stuff like that supported it. About 14 games.
That's more than I would have thought.
And it came packed with a game called Police Knots. Police Knots. All right. If you want the pack with Police Knots, $52. If you just want the mouse straight up, $40. Not bad. Yeah, I don't know if I'd go after that one. That's
no.
So, listen, I'm going to bring this up because I can't help myself. But the CD32, one of the all-time great consoles. Hey, it's better now than it's ever been. It supported an Amiga mouse. Plug that sucker in. That was all there was to it.
What was there anything for it?
Sure, you could. This is the CD32. It was all directly ported for the Amiga.
I meant So
yes,
specifically,
you almost have to have one if you're going to do anything particularly treacherous on the CD32. So all you need is an Amiga mouse, and you're in. Amiga mouse, $15 to $30. If you're doing modern stuff on your CD32, you got to have a mouse because you're going to be playing. You can get any game you want on there, pretty much. So. Like I said, today, if the CD32 could do today, if it could have done that back when it was released, but they would have sold these things from now to doomsday, but they didn't do it that way. So now,
not even close.
Here we go. Are you ready?
All right.
The Philips CDI. Now listen, Philips never did a half job. That's for sure.
I'm not surprised by this at all.
Oh yeah. So, and they had lots of crazy peripherals. So they had two mice. Plus a trackball, plus a roller controller.
Yes.
The triple.
Yes.
Triple. Now,
used in almost everything, right?
I could only find prices on the mouse that you can get.
Okay.
And you're looking at between $27 and $50. I would like to have the trackball or the roller controller, or a CDI for that matter. But they are pretty obscure from what I can tell. So, just a couple mentions here as well. The Atari 5200 has a legendary rolling device, which is the massive trackball, which is mouse-like. Big, massive trackball that's the size of the actual console. Have you ever seen this thing? You could physically beat a man to death, and then use the thing while you were beating him down. That's how this thing was massive. Everything on the 5200 was like made for giants. I don't know what they were thinking. Listen, I like the fact that they've got this compact design to cut down on wiring to your television, which is horrible, by the way. But we're not lacked in that. We're gonna make up for it in the fact that it takes up the size of a tabletop. If you have this thing and the roller ball beside it, I mean, you would barely fit on this table. It's so huge.
It's true. It's all true.
You could get one of these bad boys for about $33 unboxed, and about $70 boxed. Now, one last item I thought about and I didn't write down. For some reason, just because they also made a roller controller for the ColecoVision. You ever seen this thing?
I probably have, but I don't recall it.
Right. And
because I don't know what it would have been ever used for.
It's another big plasticky unit.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm trying to think of what you used it for. I'm trying to think of what on the Coleco. I'm sure there was something, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. I don't have
poker or something.
That's
silly.
one of the few Coleco peripherals I don't have. I've got the wheel. I've got the Atari expansion device. I've got an Atom. I've got a lot, but I don't have that. I do not have that. So I just thought that was interesting. Like I said, I would not have suspected that some of these systems had mouse support and sold mice. So kind of neat. So
in addition to that, some things that you might not think of.
All right.
Your 8-bit computers, like your Spectrums.
Yeah.
Those also had mice. I mean, you think, well, it's a computer, of course, but think of what kind of computer it is, where having a mouse is a pretty big deal.
I didn't even know it had. I mean, I didn't think much about it, but yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised. The way you hook peripherals on the Spectrum, it's such a small unit that when you hook it, like Boat's got this gimmick that has a joystick that goes out the cartridge slot. It's so bizarre looking. It's so hackadoo.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
But it reminds me of the old days. Is what it reminds me of. When you just had crazy junk hanging out of stuff.
That's right.
The Coco was like that. The Amiga was like that too. So mouse games.
Yes.
It was an interesting conundrum as to
it was.
Because we went through. I really sat down and went through a lot of different systems to try to come up with something that didn't violate the rules or whatever. And
it's surprisingly hard to find a game that is 100% mouse control.
Yeah. I mean,
a lot of them have during gameplay hit this or hit that.
Yeah, and I will say the one I picked, you hit the space bar, you get a menu, but I thought that was still in play. So I will kick off the show. I will kick off the game extravaganza this week.
What'd you bring to the table?
I picked a game I've heard about for years, and really, I'd never really actually played it. It was called the Shufflepuck Cafe. Now,
yes.
Brent, have you heard of this one before?
Oh yeah. This is a really famous game, man.
It really is.
Yeah.
So this got released, and I'm going to look at the Amiga version because when I think
it's the best version.
When I think of mouse games, no, seriously, it's the Amiga is the mouse. It was the mouse-centric computer that had good games. I mean, other computers had mice.
But the thing is,
other computers had good games, but this is the one that had the mouse and the good games.
The thing with Amiga is, I've always experienced your mouse or what your mouse offerings, and they're always so terrible.
Well, we'll get into that in a minute. But Shufflepuck was released, like I said, in '89, and it was published and developed by Broderbund. Now, I thought this was interesting. When you think Broderbund, I mean, they put out a lot of games on the Amiga and on systems across the spectrum. But develop-wise, on the Amiga, they only developed one other game.
Really?
As far as I could tell.
Huh. I did not know that.
And that was Prince of Persia. And really, that was, Jordan Mechner developed it. But, I mean, pretty much, I don't know what they're but they're listed as a developer. But, in actuality, so, of course, there's always a guy that develops it. Just happens to know who that guy is. There weren't a lot of people that worked on this. Now, this got... One thing I'll say before we get too deep into this is Shufflepuck Cafe got ported to, like, everything. I mean,
it had a few ports, yeah.
Yeah, and so...
a few very weird ports.
It did. Now, get this. So, you've got your Amstrad.
Yep.
You got your Mac Classic.
Yeah, those aren't crazy.
The Mac Classic one... it was a vectory looking. It was pretty good.
I played it as well. It played just as well.
The Atari ST, the NEC PC-98.
Yeah, now you're getting a little strange, a little obscure.
The NES.
That's the one that blew my mind.
Yeah. Of course, DOS. Now here's one that was wacky. The Sharp X68000. Did you know about that one?
I still think the NES one is stranger.
And they had a Tandy version / IBM PC Junior, which is that using those 16 color. Yeah.
Huh, I didn't see that one.
Now you'll notice, I always heard about this game, and for whatever reason in my head, I thought this was a classic C64 game. That's why I don't know why.
Really?
Well, guess what? This didn't get a release on the 64.
Nope.
Now, apparently there was one in the works, but it was never got released. And there was an Apple II GS version in the works. The Apple II GS is the fancy color, like everyone loves the GS now. I think Boat's the one that is a real big fan of that one. But this did not get finished and sent out to the GS. But apparently there's a beta version floating around.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah. So
I wonder if that version is superior to the Amiga.
No way. This is the Amiga, brother. We never lose to a freaking Mac. So the graphics on this were done by a guy named Gene Portwood. His only claim to fame on the Amiga was "Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego," which was a big, huge hit as well. And the music, which I thought the music was actually pretty good when you hear it, was done by Lauren Elliott. And again, "Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego" is the only credit they have. So the people that worked on this really didn't work on a ton of other stuff on the Amiga. And I should mention the coder was a fellow named Christopher Gross. And this was an old school Amiga game. It ran the OCS, and it was pretty standard stuff. So, what is this game? Well, you find yourself in a backwater cafe.
Yeah.
All right, against a backdrop of insanity, aliens, mutants, freaks of nature, robots. They're all here.
Colorful characters.
In the cafe, and they're playing the #1 game in town, the old Shufflepuck. Now, what is that? Well, if you're familiar with air hockey, it's basically air hockey.
Yes. Where your goal is everything.
If you ever thought to yourself, what would it be like to be on a foreign planet and take on aliens in air hockey? This is the game for you.
That's it.
So this, by the way, I found out that the very, very original release of this was made for the Mac.
Yes.
So everything was built on that version. Now, I'm assuming, and I looked at some of the Mac footage. I mean, really, if you look at these games, and I actually played a couple versions.
Yeah, I did as well.
I played it on the PC and on the Amiga.
Oh, you didn't play the Mac version?
I did not play the Mac.
I played the Mac version. It played very well.
If you look at these, they're they're virtually identical, aren't they? I mean, there'll be color differences,
a little bit of sound differences,
but effectively, they're very similar.
It's a very easy to translate game, is why.
Right. So, the Amiga version, this sort of has a plot where you basically you're basically broke down. You need to call to get a tow, and you go to the Shufflepuck Cafe to use the phone, and they will let you use the phone until you beat all these guys.
Right.
Which is the same thing that the 68,000 has a little plot strapped to the front.
It's a the Amiga plot is a horrible plot. It is often ignored by everyone because it's so stupid.
Well, I mean, that's a legit plot.
No, that's a dumb plot.
You don't like the plot?
No.
So let's talk about your opponents in this, because really this game is as basic as it gets. We'll talk about the game first. You sit on one end of the table close to you. You don't see yourself. And you stare across the table at your opponent, okay? The table is in sort of a pseudo 3D length. And they're on the sides of the table are barriers. And so you've got just an empty table.
That's right.
And there's basically like a triangle, which is your paddle. And your opponent's got a triangle. Think the bouncer from Pong, all right? The what you use to hit the ball. And then the board, the play field, sort of like wood grain looking at more or less, and you use your mouse as your hand, and you're moving this paddle with your hand. If you hit the mouse button, you can really change a lot. You can customize a lot of what you do. Like it'll change the way you hit, subtly, or not subtly, depending on how you've tweaked it. And as you stare at your opponent, the puck appears, and you basically play air hockey. And when you score a goal on your opponent, there's an invisible sheet of glass, which is sort of this game's high watermark. Technically, it shatters and has a really cool it's a pretty cool effect. And then when their puck gets past you, your side shatters, and then it just is back up. You don't see the glass until it shatters, and it makes a shattering noise. That's pretty much the game. Now.
First to 15 wins.
They will let you tweak it out in non-tournament play. You can tweak out your paddle, and
you can tweak out a lot of stuff, not just the paddle.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm talking in non-tournament play. You can tweak out your paddle, and you can add barriers. And, you can actually also change how your shots work. I mean, there's a lot of it's actually surprisingly deep. I mean, in a weird way.
Yeah, for functions that you wouldn't expect in a game like this, it goes very deep. You can control speeds, you can control size of paddle, all the way up to where you can have a paddle that is as large as the hole that you're blocking.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is your opponent will just always hit it straight back to you. And sure, they can never score against you, but you'll never be able to angle the puck in a way to allow you to score either.
They let you do it, but you're an idiot if you do that. I found that making the paddle larger wasn't necessarily the way to go. You know, I usually use the standard. I played mostly tournaments, so you can't really mess with it.
It's not the fact that it's good or bad. It's the fact that you can do it that's impressive. Right. Also, you have where you hold down the mouse button and it will give you different types of control, like you were saying before. Yeah. You can adjust the barrier that moves in the middle, to some extent. The options being there adds some replayability to the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, something else I like is your control over the puck is pretty good. I mean, you can
decent,
you can actually. What I like to do, Brian, is when the puck's coming in, I like to whip that paddle across like this, and you can angle the ball or the puck in a direction that you like, and you can sort of trick them. And you're moving back, not just backwards and forwards, but up sideways. You're moving all over in your area where you have movement. So it's not just like unlike Pong, where you're just going side to side, I mean, you've got a realm of movement that you don't normally enjoy.
Correct.
So let's talk about your opponents. A colorful cast, if there ever was one. So
they are certainly the highlight of the show.
First off is the serving robot, DC3- also. He is basically there to train you. For all intents and purposes, he's no good. He's just basically a waiter that you're playing, and he beeps and buzzes and makes robot noises when you play him. Then you've got Skip Freeney. He's this little geek, Harry Potter looking kid.
Very human. It's a humanoid.
He's new. He's easy to beat. There's never a problem with him.
Right.
He looks a lot like Waldo or.
Yeah, he's a cross between Waldo and Harry from Harry Potter.
He'll tell you, good shot.
Yeah,
he'll
nice
say that
shot.
a lot. Nice shot, yeah. And he's not difficult at all.
No.
Then you've got Vizine Orb. Okay. Vizine Orb is a native of Squalor 3. I'd hate to live there. He is very short. So all you see of this guy's like playing Orb is like playing like a little kid at hockey. Because if you watch the pad on his side, it's just rapidly going like this, like crazy.
It's spazzing out.
And it's funny when he scores on you, he laughs. He can't. It seems like stunned, and he can be. He's not very good either. But it's so manic that he can be annoying. But you use
it's pretty. He's a pretty easy opponent as well.
Then you've got Vinny the Dweeb.
Yeah,
Vinny the Dweeb is this big. How would you explain it? Like a pig man?
He's a pigman soldier.
Yeah. He slashes the peace sign at you. Occasionally, he's a grad student at the University of Zippy. He's a physics major, and that gives him the ability to make these incredible shots, which not really.
No, he's pretty easy as well.
And he's pretty peace loving until you score him a few times and he gets mad. He would give me a good run, but I could beat him too. Yeah, I could beat him. So. Then you've got Lexon Smythe Worthington. Now, this guy's quite a character here.
Probably the best guy in the game.
He's an alligator alien. Let me see if it says where he's from. He's a lizard. He's a remittance lizard from one of the finest families at Saurus 8. He gets $2,500 a month just to stay away from his homeland.
Yeah, he's your rich guy.
Yeah, he's
sipping the martini.
He's drinking. He's got a drink here, the local blue champagne, and as you're playing, this guy's really tough at first, but the longer you can keep him going, the more drunk he gets.
Yes,
and so towards the end of the game, he's absolutely atrocious, and he's burping, and he's having all kinds of trouble.
As long as he doesn't score on you repeatedly, because in the beginning, it's all an endurance game.
Yeah,
you have to be able to keep up with them. And as long as there's a long enough gap between scores, when he scores on you, he'll drink.
Yeah.
So about 10 scores in, you just crush him.
Yeah. But I like this guy. The funny thing about this guy is when you beat him, you just see him slowly lower from the table, and you hear this crash, like this guy's just passed out on the floor. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I like this guy, but I could beat him too.
I could beat him as well.
So then you get on to here we go. Then you get on the tougher guys. The General. Right?
Yep.
Enig Daltrop. This guy, according to the documentation, he's just a guy that showed up at his house one day in a military outfit and declared that he told his wife that he was revolting, and she agreed. That's what it says in the thing. I love that. Anyway, this guy's tough, isn't he?
This is it. I can't get past this guy.
I can't get past him either.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
the difficulty curve on this game is ridiculous.
Well, it goes from. I mean, it gives you plenty of guys to fight, but then you hit a guy where you really
the upper echelon is unbeatable.
Well, now I can score on these guys, which means if you can score on them, you can beat them. So, but this guy was tough. It was just hard to get pucks past, and he would hit some hard stuff. And the funny thing about this game is, I mean, you don't feel like you're getting ripped. Well, there's a couple places you feel like you get ripped off.
I feel like I'm getting ripped off.
I thought this guy played a pretty fair game. I got about 6-7 points on him.
I didn't even do that well. I don't recall doing that well.
Okay, the next opponent is Neural Toidle. All right, Ttoille. This is the hooded figure. Okay,
yes.
Now this is a weird one. Did you ever? I played this.
I played them all.
But I mean, this was another tough one.
Oh, he was unbeatable.
So this is like, it looks like the Grim Reaper shows up to play you, and whenever you score, whenever he scores on you, the chest of his cloak opens up and a little alien face goes like, like celebrates, and whenever you score on him, the alien face comes out and goes like, oh,
gets mad.
Gets mad. I thought that was pretty cool. He was a lot of fun. Again, incredibly difficult. I never beat him either. Now then you've got Princess Bajan. She's the hot, sexy,
token hot chick
girl of the. Listen, they only got one, so I'm going to give him a pass.
Oh no, I didn't say anything bad about it.
So the documentation says that she's been allegedly romantically linked to the general, but it also says the general probably made that up. Good move, the general. So this chick is the hot, sexy girl that you played. She's very competent, all right, but she also cheats. What she'll do is after she sinks a puck on you, and she gets control of the puck, she'll hear like and she'll use her mental powers to shoot the puck in a direction that's it sounds random. It's not. There are two noises it makes, and if you listen for the subtle difference between the two, you can tell which side of the board she's going to hit the puck on.
Yeah, one's a high pitched noise and one is a low pitched noise.
Right. And so with that in mind, you can at least block those shots. Now, she's tough, isn't she?
She's unbeatable.
She's
everyone past the general's unbeatable.
I don't agree with you on that. I think, like I said, I scored pretty good on a couple of these guys. I was able to score on her a couple times. My thing is, if you can score on them, they can be beaten. So it just takes some practice. I mean, we only played it for a week too. She was tough though, but that was fun. She's fun to play just because she uses her mental powers. The sound effect's pretty cool. It sounds like somebody broke out one of those old instruments they used to use in the monster movies. You know,
I know what you're talking about.
And fired that up. So she was kind of neat to play. Then you got the main event, Bill Raunch. Bill Raunch is pretty impressive. He is a outlaw Galactocycle Bike Club member. He's the leader, and the name of the club is called Heaven's Devils. He's a big mean.
It's pretty good, actually.
He's a big mean freak. He's real tough. He's the pub champ.
Yeah, he's also unbeatable.
He in fact, I've heard he is literally unbeatable unless you have like a really good mouse. So we should probably talk about the mouse. So, as I mentioned, I played this on the trusty old school Amiga, which is great. But the trusty old school Amiga still has the trusty old school mouse.
Unplayable.
I've got several different mice, and I broke out a couple of them to see if it improved my game. They're all old school Amiga mice, though. And they did not. And the truth of the matter is, if you're going to play this game, I would suggest a new mouse. I mean new. I also played this on the Amiga Forever package. I emulated it to see how I did on there. I did much better with the laser mouse than I did with the Amiga mouse.
Oh, yeah. Well, your mouse really sucks.
Well, no, I've got multiple mice since you've seen it last. I've got tons of mice. I've got the several different models of Amiga mice, but none of them were in the same stratosphere as using a laser mouse. So now you can get a laser mouse for the Amiga, and that's probably the way to go if you seriously want to sit down and play this. Now, here's what I like about this game. There's a bunch of stuff I like. This is a nice, leisurely game where you can sit down, you can fire this up. Literally, the opening menu, you just pick whoever you want to play and you play him.
Yep.
You don't have to go to the tournament. You don't do nothing. You can go through that stuff. If you play just an individual match, you can just pick whoever you want. You could tweak the rules. You can put the blockers in the middle of the field to make it more interesting. Sometimes those blocks will actually hurt the computer. They will have some trouble with them. Often the blocks help you and hurt the computer. And those are just like barriers in the middle of the field.
Kind of wiggle around back and forth.
That just cause their barrier. It makes stuff so the computer no one get these straight shots in. So it makes a difference. But this is a fun leisurely game that you could just sit back with an adult beverage and play it, and it's a good time. It's not deep. It's not even if you tweak all the control stuff. It's not like this is a deep game. It is what it is. It's glorified Pong or whatever, basically. But the presentation's top shelf. It really is. It's a very clever game, and it's a lot of fun. Now, with all that said, there's one major omission, and it's omission in every version of this game, and that is there is no support for a second player. This game would have went a long ways if they would have supported 2 players. Now, you could have done it split screen. You could have done it via a link, like a serial link or even some sort of internet thing. Although I'd say this game would be tough to play on like a modem back in the day. It does not have any of these things, which is a shame, because that's the one thing that would have made it a lot more fun. Have multiple players. In fact, what would make it even more fun is to let you pick your character, and then you gain some sort of extra ability, like the mind control or the drinking guy. Maybe that'd be a good handicap for a really good player, because as he plays, he would get more and more drunk. That would be fun. I read that there's some sort of sequel to this. Did you look into that at all?
No.
It was like, I think it's like a phone thing or something. I didn't look into it, so maybe they remedied that on there. But overall, this is not going to win Deepest Game of All Time award. But as a mouse game, it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I had, like, this is my first go around with it, and I thought it was. This is the kind of game I really like from back in the day. Someone thought outside the box. Let's take a simple concept, build something around it. The extra characters make it fun. The graphics are really, they're not nothing to write home about, but they look pretty good. Some of the screens look real nice. It's nice. The graphics are nice and clean. And the best part of it is that the actual gameplay is solid. You're not gonna lose out. There's no weirdness. I mean, it gets to the point where it's incredibly hard, but it's you feel like you're getting a fair shake. Any thoughts on that?
I disagree with almost everything you say.
Wow. Okay.
First of all, the things I do agree with. The graphics are great for the era. And the atmosphere is stellar.
Yeah.
Stellar.
Yeah.
But I don't think it needs a 2-player mode, because the enjoyment of the game is playing the different characters that you're up against. Me against you, this is Pong. This is air hockey. I don't want that. I want to play against the big pig general. Okay?
Well, I'm close.
Well,
I'm working on it.
I think that the sound in this is horrible. There is no music while you actually play the game. All you get is some wood knocks and puck knocks from the sound from hitting the puck. What a missed opportunity. This is on some of the systems with some of the greatest sound of its era, and it has no, and you're in this rowdy pub. Why is there not
It has some background sound at the beginning.
No. I want, while you play, the crowd needs to be going nuts when you score. They need to have subtle, like, bar fights in the background. They lose so much atmosphere by not having any sound while you play. It's very, very disappointing.
You're not wrong. And this game, I think, suffers a little bit from portitis. I think they ported this thing from, and the Amiga gets this, and the Atari ST gets it too a lot, where you ported these games from like lesser systems. I mean, could the graphics have been better? Absolutely. Could the sound and music been better? Yes, much better, but they was a straight port, and they didn't do it.
The graphics are fine.
Right, but it could have been better, is my point. It could have been much better.
The play on this, they might as well not have the last 4 characters, because they are virtually unbeatable. And I'm talking about, I actually went out in search of someone who beat this legitimately, made it all the way through the tournament, and I could not find a single video on the internet showing from beginning to end winning this.
It's legendarily hard.
But I mean, no. It's not legendarily hard. That's stupid. That's stupid. I'm not saying I should be able to beat this on my first time through. I don't have a problem getting to the 4th guy and not being able to progress because I'm not willing to put in the time to get better. I got no problem with that. But when you can't find a single video on the internet of someone beating this from beginning to end, I think that is suspect.
You need to get on it, man.
I think that is suspect. I also think that it is criminal that while they have all these awesome options where you can adjust things, I think that's great. I think it is criminal that there are only 2 characters that you fight against, the lady and the drunk, that actually have a change to their character during the match or do something unique during the match. All of their sprites look great. Their little sound effects are fine. But when you are banking so hard on a premise and you've got awesome ideas, why not flesh them out? With the cloaked figure, why doesn't that little chest burster get up and like start kicking the puck, to help his team?
Right.
Why doesn't the little kid start talking about, like, trying to make you feel bad, saying, like, oh, I always lose? Anything would have been better than just having, you've got awesome components and you just do nothing with it. Well, now, all of that said, I'm not going to hate on this game as to saying it wasn't great for its time, because it still stepped outside of the box in so many ways that the atmosphere really set it apart. But am I ever going to play this again? You know what? Actually, I might. I might come back in 3 or 4 years to play it just to see all the characters. It's kind of like revisiting, like going to Cheers or something. You go back to see everyone, all the weird, cool characters. But I'm not gonna devote an evening to this ever, because there's not enough game there.
Well, I think this is a quick distraction style game. I can't deny most of what you said. I agree with. But I think, like I said, a lot of this is, if we look at its trajectory to the Amiga, it ran to a lot of other systems. And like we said, most of the other versions are almost identical. I played the IBM PC version of this, and it was, sound aside, it looked almost exactly the same in almost every way. So there you go. The reviews on this, the people over at Lemon, which is sort of the authoritative scoring webpage for the Amiga, gave this a 7.88. Amiga Format gave it a 49%. They really hated it. Amiga Power gave it an 83%. They liked it. Amiga Resource gave it 18 out of 20. Antics Amiga Plus gave it 4 out of 5, and CU Amiga gave it a 72. Not bad. So I would say I would put this somewhere in the C level of game. Like I said,
I would as well.
It gets a lot of points for originality of doing something with that loose plot. If you're interested in picking this thing up, I found box copies. They're all overseas, of course. And,
of course.
$10, $26, and $55. You can go pick them up straight away. I think you could probably get this thing for around $25 to $30, really, if you want to look hard enough. So that's it, man. That was the long and short of it. What are you going to bring to the table today?
I went to a console and said, "Consoles, what can you do for me for original mouse games?"
Yeah.
And they said, "You know what? Super Famicom, Mario and Wario. Let's do it." Okay. And I thought, Mario and Wario. First of all, I'd never heard of this game.
Yeah.
And I thought, a Mario game I've never heard of that is completely mouse controlled. Let's do it.
Yeah.
This is going to be awesome. It was not awesome.
I gotta tell you, this is one that I had not heard of this one.
I had never heard of this game.
For it to be a Mario and Wario game.
First of all, let's a little Super NES mouse history here. When you're talking about releases for the Super NES versus the Super Famicom, one has lots of releases, one has less releases. The States did not get, first of all, they didn't get Mario and Wario, and they did not get a plethora of other titles that Japan did get. Now, a lot of these were role-playing type games, or mahjong type things that would not sell in the United States or even in Europe or anything like that. But they had far more choices of games to play with your Super Nintendo mouse. The big problem was they weren't buying games over there either. Yeah. So it was the Nintendo was really trying to push this thing, and just no one was buying it. And I think that is because a console mouse, while it looks great on paper, the biggest absolute problem is you play a console like this with your hands up on your lap, above you, sitting down
on the couch.
You
maybe.
play mouse games on a table.
Yeah,
and that is what I think 100% killed the Super Nintendo mouse, and it had nothing to do with the quality of the mouse or the games. So let's move on to actually talking about Mario and Wario. When you hear a title like that, you think, man, I'm either going to be the good guy or the bad guy. This is going to be awesome. I'm going to control the main character. No. You take control of a fairy named Wanda that was dropped from the universe of Mario literally as soon as she existed. She is for this game, and pretty much that is it. And no mention of this game outside of a few Smash Brother references and a Pokemon reference, which we'll get into here in a second, has ever come from this game. And it is due to poor sales because the game is already translated in English. Sending it over here would have been rewriting one instruction manual, bam, you're done. Yeah. But it did not happen. So what is the story of Mario and Wario? I'll take it from the translated Japanese book.
Okay.
You are on an island. Within the forest depths lives a fairy, and those who behold it find happiness, as the tale goes. One day, Mario sought the fabled fairy by coming to the forest. Peach, Yoshi, and Luigi were together, or should have been, but alas, Luigi's visage was unseen. Mario's group of 3 had decided to look for the little lost Luigi. Then, the sky was overcome with a suspicious engine sound. What is that? It was Wario, riding in his personal plane, the Bulldog. And he threw a bucket from the sky. Here you go! Uh-oh, the bucket landed right on Mario's head. Oh, I can't see in this thing. Watching was the forest fairy Wanda. She somehow wanted to help, but the small fairy did not have the ability to remove the bucket. Thus, Wanda decided to use her magic wand on Mario to send signals, guiding him to Luigi.
Her magic stinks. Can't remove a bucket.
So that's the story. So Wario sees Mario going into the forest to find happiness, which that's all kinds of strange right from the get-go. Especially since he's bringing the princess, Yoshi, Luigi, and Mario out in this forest to find happiness from a fairy. I'm not even going to go there. And then Wario sees him and throws a bucket on his head. What?
You know, there's a lot of bucket on the head things. Is that something that was a big thing back in the day where that would happen a lot?
I don't know. So, I mean, the story is loose and fun, so I don't have a problem with it. And depending on what level you play, Wario can throw a variety of objects on Mario or Peach or Yoshi's head. Broken eggshells, a jellyfish, which that sounds a lot more like murder. You know, and depending on which character you pick, Peach walks real slow, which gives you more time to do reactions, but gives you less time. You know, it takes her longer to get through trap areas. And then Yoshi's a speed demon. He walks like the lightning, so it's really hard to keep up with him. So what do you do in this game? Well, these are single scrolling screen platforming levels where you control Wanda with the mouse and your click changes the environment, or if you click on the character you've chosen, we'll just say Mario, it will turn him around. It will make him go in the opposite direction.
Tell him what she does.
Well, she whacks him with the wand.
She beats him with a stick.
Yeah,
in the head.
And makes him turn around. So
it's very amusing.
It is. It's also somewhat satisfying. I won't lie.
Burn on the head.
So through the levels, Luigi is in one location and Mario's in another location, just walking forward. That is his only function. He walks forward. You, as Wanda the Fairy, have to control the environment by making magical blocks appear, or by whacking enemies to defeat them, or crushing blocks to clear the path. And as Mario goes, he'll go up ladders, conveyor belts, basically. And eventually, if you guide him correctly, you will be able to get to Luigi, and Luigi will remove the bucket from Mario's head. Along your path, some items that can help you are You can get 1-up mushrooms, which are the traditional green 1-up mushrooms. I got no problem with that. You can bash coin blocks. Think of, Mario jumps up and hits a coin block with his fist and gets coins that way. Well, Wanda can't do that. She just whacks him with a wand and the coins come out. I got no problem with that. Here's where I have a little bit of problem. There are symbols in Mario games that do something.
I know what you're saying.
Everything you see the icon, you know what that does.
It's always the same in every game.
So when you see a star, you think, I'm going to pick up this star and become invincible, and that way I can just roll through the enemies or whatever. No. Stars are now just collectibles for each level. There are 4 on most of the levels, and when you collect them, you get an extra life.
They're sort of like the special green coins or red coins that would pop up that you get. They would come up, and you had to get them real quick.
Sort of, but
except these are always there.
Yeah, they're stationary.
Yeah,
and
they're a set.
They're puzzle elements to get to most of these stars.
Yeah.
And then you have the traditional red mushroom that everyone knows. Everyone knows what it does. Makes Mario bigger, lets him take a hint. No. Now it gives you more time to complete the level.
Yeah.
So I've got a little bit of issue with that, but you know what? That's fine.
If he got bigger, his head would get mushed.
Well, maybe just break out of the bucket.
They need one to make you smaller.
No, they make it bigger, breaks out of the bucket. Maybe
hopefully
you make the level easier.
I wouldn't risk it.
So, what are the obstacles that the game gives you? The puzzle elements, because this is at its heart a puzzle game.
Yeah.
This is like you're guiding one lemming to the goal, and you are all of the different lemmings. You through the elements of the environment, you control what all the other elements of the lemmings would do. So you have blocks, coin blocks, that you can just bash them and get coins. No problem there. You've got dotted outlines of where a square could be. So when you use your magic wand, you can make that square appear. Still, we're good. Elevators will, when Mario gets on them, take them to a higher platform. Since this is a 2D game, you have to do that so the levels aren't just one linear path straight. Right. There's some variety there.
Definitely not that.
No problem. Flip blocks. They are either blue or red, and you can only have blue active when blue's there and red active when red's there.
Yeah.
Cool. I got no problem. You get the fusion blocks. These are elements that you can't control, and they will randomly get larger so that you can be walked on, or disappear so there's a hole. Don't like those, but I'll get into that in a second. You've got cracked blocks, which are basically boulders that you can whack and clear the path. Excellent. Jump blocks. These are spring platforms that will bounce you up, usually 2 or 3 blocks high, and there are different puzzle elements with it, getting on the right spring to bounce you to the level you want to go. No problem. Then you have the flip-flop blocks those are the ones you just hit and they appear in the outline.
Yeah.
And you have timer blocks.
Yeah.
These are a beast because you hit them and they are only active for like 3 seconds. So Mario has to be getting on the block, ready to hit the block, and the game uses these blocks to an obscene degree, where they just keep throwing these at you as a puzzle.
You pretty much have to stay on it and keep pounding
as soon as it disappears, whack it back.
Yeah.
Now, actually, in concept, I think this game sounds like it could be pretty interesting. I just went over every element of the entire game. So, remember that. That's everything they have to work with. What makes this so bad, in my opinion, is most of the levels will only use 1 or 2 elements at one time. So you very rarely have levels where you have the time blocks and the switcher blocks and the normal blocks all on the same level to complete a puzzle. Usually you'll just have a ton of timer blocks, or you'll have a lot of regular blocks. And it's not that it makes it hard or easy, because the game is actually very difficult, I found. There are 110 levels total in the game. The first 10 levels, the first 90 levels, you can play in any order in blocks of 10. The first 10 levels are literal tutorial levels that you pretty much cannot fail at. And then the rest of them start adding elements in up to about level 50. After 50 on, you've seen all the elements that the game provides, and then they just use them in a different way. The problem is how they use them. They do not make good puzzles. This is more like learning to use a mouse to me than it is a game. Because most of these aren't puzzles in a puzzly sense. It's not you've got to do this and then do that. It is how fast can you click on this block before Mario falls. And I don't like that aspect of it. It has great graphics, very colorful graphics. It's got good enough sound. It's not great. The sound effects are, again, not great, but they're certainly passable. But when you put all of these elements together into a game, I don't think that they use the tools properly to make fun levels. What did you think about it?
I think I liked it more than you. I was surprised. I've never used the Super Nintendo mouse, so I just used my computer mouse on this.
The Super Nintendo mouse is a ball mouse that is very good.
Right.
It's very good.
I was actually surprised. I thought to myself, why didn't this make the trip overseas? Because this, you could have played this over here. I mean, the cost, of course, is probably a big chunk of the reason why. But I actually thought this was okay. I mean, was this the best game ever played? No. But I thought it was interesting. I didn't get the level 50. I can tell you that. But I did pretty well. The problem with this game is the concept is sound. I mean, the fairy thing is stupid. I would not have done it this way. I would have used a more familiar character, unless they were just planning on using this chick as a more familiar character to Mario Universe. It also makes your main characters look like idiots. That's one thing.
Yes.
Because you do have to, one thing you failed to mention, it was like the whole time you're doing this manipulation stuff, your idiot characters are walking around like morons.
Yes.
This reminded me an awful lot of a game, now not in play style, but in the actual theme of it. There was a game on the Amiga called Sleepwalker, where you're a dog and you try to keep your master who's sleepwalking from getting killed. He's walking all over the place. You're doing all this stuff to help him. It's very similar in terms of the theme of it. Now, and of course, this is the old Mr. Magoo. You know, he's blind doofus. But some of this stuff, the funny thing about this game is there are parts of it where it's incredibly slow, and which is why they did stuff like there's a part where there are many parts where your characters have to walk all the way across the whole structure, and so you're just the fairy. So what they've done is to make it give you something to do, they'll put the coin blocks in or something.
That's exactly
what the coin blocks are
for.
there for you. They're just there to give you something to do while your characters are lumbering across the playfield, especially if you pick someone really slow.
Yeah. And sometimes if you pick Yoshi, he is considerably faster than Peach.
Something else I noticed on this is that if you're going to collect the stars, for example...
Holy moly.
It can be difficult, but what it can also be is just tedious.
Yes.
This game has a lot of tedium in it when you just are waiting for things to happen. When the characters get on these ladders going up, I don't know what your escalators... or you're just waiting for them to walk somewhere. I mean, you're literally just doing nothing.
Yeah.
And...
It makes you want to play a faster character, and then the faster character is too fast.
Yeah, because because you get these points, these time blocks, and time blocks, they don't stay on that long.
No.
And underneath them are almost always spikes or something.
Yes.
So if they go off, your character gets, he's gone.
Or what's even worse than that, what's far worse to me than the spikes, is when you fall and you're back at the beginning of the level.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, gosh.
And in a similar vein, when you get those levels where they have the bouncy, the trampolines or whatever, the springs... You can if you miss your guy bonking him or something, he can hit one of those springs and go and just completely screw things up. Yeah. You got to start all over, and you're talking. These levels can be
several minutes long,
tedious. They can be tedious, and so that was the downside. I mean, I think what they did here, they've got the team together. They said, "Listen, we got this peripheral. Can you come up with something clever?" And they came up with something pretty clever, but it was not. Was it fun? Well, it's okay. Again, it's so well. It's everything about it. The music's good. The sound, the graphics are nice. it's ready for prime time, except everywhere except for the actual gameplay, which is not horrible, but it's okay. Yeah, it's not the best. And it's not like, I mean, when you mentioned Lemmings and the comparison, of course, you're always going to be making a comparison to a game like Lemmings, but Lemmings is far more, there's far more going on. Yeah. Like, you don't really, there's no idle time generally, because the only idle time you've got is when you've cleared the path and your Lemmings are heading out the exit, and you can just crank up the amount of Lemmings that come out and just hang out and wait for it to come in, you're done. But Lemmings is usually pretty manic. This, and also since you've got one character here, and
the camera focuses on him.
No, I never
not
got.
On you.
I didn't get anywhere near 50. So I don't know if at some point other characters come out or whatever. No. But if it just stick to one character, you know, it can be slow. I didn't, as an added bonus, the thought of you whack. The fact that you're whacking these guys with your staff or whatever, it's the fairy, to turn them around. So it makes all the characters look like idiots. I mean, I never thought, I felt bad for Mario and these guys. They spend the whole game with their head in buckets or shells or whatever. Yeah. They look like morons. And it wasn't what I would call good to the brand, I don't think.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the people who made this, because you've got to think, man. They're getting Nintendo's top tier characters. It's Mario, it's Yoshi, it's the princess, it's your top villain for the franchise. It's Wario, and you're saying they're yours. Make with them as you will. Who are you going to give that power to? And they gave it to a little company. Some of you might know, Game Freak.
Yeah.
Now, Game Freak. This was the last game that they made before they made Pokemon, which is obviously the global phenomenon.
Yeah.
That Game Freak, let me tell you something, rolling in money.
Yeah.
But when you think back, in Japan, this sold less than 500,000 copies, which Nintendo considered to be a failure, which is the reason why I did not get a Western port.
Because I seems like I read that the Mario Paint over there sold about 850,000 copies, something like that. So that would be a duck. Yeah.
So, and this did come with a mouse in Japan. This was the alternative to buying Mario Paint if you wanted to get the mouse peripheral.
Did you see what it cost to buy the combo?
Oh yeah, yeah. But here's the thing: this was Game Freak did this for Nintendo. If Nintendo could have said, you know what, you didn't do good enough, we're severing ties with you.
Yeah.
It was probably pretty close, because, like I said, Nintendo considered this a failure, and this was the game, you know, right before they revealed Pokemon, and Pokemon, of course, took the world by storm. So it's kind of an interesting blip in history, because you never hear about this game. I've never
heard of it. I swear to God, I never heard of it until you mentioned it. I didn't know what it was.
So, I know I've talked bad about the game in length, but it's really not that bad. The problem is it is tedious.
It's mediocre.
It is mediocre. Yeah. And you think when you've got the main players of your Mario universe, and when the title of your game is Mario and Wario, and you don't get to play as either of them, this is sort of way back, if you remember, we talked about Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, where you didn't get to play as Mike Tyson, and a lot of people got mad over that. I think kind of the same feel here. Your game is called Mario and Wario, and literally, they could have been anything else. Yeah. They have their character, even their world, their item pickups, have no relevance on the game whatsoever. It was completely slapped on as a marketing gimmick, and it did not work.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I'm not sure having different characters wouldn't have been the way to go. But this game, I don't think would have sold as well as it did, to be honest with you. The truth of the matter is, the peripheral didn't get over, the price of the game was too high, and the game, if this game had been off the charts, you got something. But it was a mediocre title. And in Mario Land, mediocre don't cut it, brother.
That's right. You know what else doesn't cut it?
What?
Not doing the wheel. So we need to crank it up.
That's fired up. Oh, my body. So, tell them what we added this week, Brenny.
I can't tell them what we added, Aaron. You added it.
Well, I told you before the show, but I'll tell you again.
Did. You added full motion video games.
Full motion video games.
Now, this is not to be confused with Laserdisc games.
No.
This is simply games that use full motion video as the mainstay for their gameplay.
Yeah. These were generally determined to be garbage, but we'll see if we can find a couple. Well, we might pick garbage ones. It is you, Urban Yeti Man.
Hey, what's not?
You had a preference tonight?
I'm always rooting for some Saturn.
Let's see what we get here.
Oh, that's one of the new ones.
Okay,
what do we got
what's it
there?
say?
We've got some 1980s DOS.
1980s DOS. Now,
yes.
we did our 90s DOS a while back, so now we're going even older on the DOS front.
Holy moly, I'm happy.
That's a wide open landscape there.
That's a good one.
That'll be interesting. So, next
One
week...
thing we need to mention, we actually had some user reviews for the games we played.
Yes, we did.
Let's see what the general public thought about Mario and Wario.
General public.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
You know, before we talk about that, let's actually talk about the arcade decoration challenge.
Okay.
You want to go into that a little bit? Tell the people what the reviews we got and what we ended up picking?
So we ended up having several very interesting submissions in our Redecorate the Arcade challenge. We've picked out 3 that we thought were pretty clever. I think it was 3 or 4 we picked out.
Well,
you want to go into a couple of those?
The top 3 that we felt we received, and all 3 of you, if you wouldn't mind emailing us your details,
your
information, so we can send you a little something.
It's argpresents@mail.com. Send us your name and address, and we'll be
hooking you up with an arcade package.
Fun pack.
That's right. Andy Craig, he wanted us to go with more of a traditional dark arcade look. Really black out everything and add in, the rope lights that were very traditional back in the time for lighting. Give it a very 80s arcade look. And we're actually going to use an element of this. We are going to use the rope lighting for our primary lighting. So it will be a bit of a dark arcade. Now, Andy really wanted us to go full force. He wanted us to paint the walls, paint the ceilings, paint it all.
Yeah.
Black it all out, man.
Paint doesn't do well on this stuff.
But we thought, we can't do that. But you know what? We are going to go with rope lighting for lighting, see how that works out.
Yeah.
Then we had Rolly, who wanted us, since we're in a huge metal building, he wanted us to do a Faraday cage type of...
the Farricade.
That's right, yeah, he called it the Farricade.
I like that.
And he actually talked about a few different elements, like the 3D image, when you move it back and forth. I can't remember what those are called. Can you...
I don't remember either. This was the most well-worded email of all time.
Yeah.
Rolly is a genius, as we know.
And he mentioned one other aspect, and this is the aspect from him that we're going to take, is to get coins, ask for coins all around the world of different coins that they use to play arcade games, and have a section of the wall just filled with these coins and tokens that give it more of a worldly feel, because this is a show that reaches kind of globally. So if you want to help us with that,
send us your money.
If you have a coin or a token that you used in an arcade,
token preferred. We don't have to actually spend the money.
If you want to mail that, and we will hook you up with the address in the description.
Yeah, send us an email, and I'll talk to you I'll talk to you in private.
And we would love to see that kind of thing. It would be awesome to have,
that was a good idea.
20, 30 coins from all around the world that people can look at and have them, up on the wall.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we went with the Pack Billy idea. And he says, you know what? You're in West Virginia. Let's keep this in-house. Put something up that you can share with the world. West Virginia monsters, and we have plenty of local West Virginia monsters. We've got the Braxton County monster. We've got Mothman, which is now globally famous. So we have a lot.
Grafted monster.
Yes, we've got a lot of homegrown monsters that we can use as sort of decoration for the arcade. So, Pack Billy, we are going to use your advice and do up at least some of the arcade along with
the
other...
ceilings are almost certainly. I've got an idea to put a big UFO up too. So that was a good idea. It's funny. I had pondered the thought. I've got some memorabilia in there, but we're gonna get some big stuff to put up.
Right, and we're going to use elements from the 3 that we've discussed. But Pack Billy, great idea, and we're going to go with that.
And we got several other. We got actually quite a few other submissions, and they're all very nice and clever.
But we just can't send everything to everybody.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys sending those.
So Graham has our reviews for user reviews.
All right,
and let's see if he agrees to what we said. He says Shufflepuck Cafe review. A fun take on air hockey where you play against various computer character opponents of different hard skill levels. The mouse play is what makes it so approachable, yet sometimes frustrating, and at the same time, but overall, is a very well presented game, sadly without a 2-player mode. 7 out of 10. I think that is very fair. And of Mario and Wario, a bright and colorful action puzzle game with great music where you play as a fairy to guide Mario, Peach, or Yoshi over to Luigi, who stands at the goal sign. Your character moves in a lemming-style manner, and you need to clear the path by adjusting obstacles, filling gaps, and tapping the bucket they wear on their head to change direction to reach the goal. Which sounds fun, but lacks longevity, which I 100% agree with.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Graham.
Heck of a show today, man.
It was something. So, thanks for tuning in this week.
Thank you for feedback. Thank you for arcade ideas. We're going to be tapping you for something else real soon, listening audience.
By the way, I should mention, we did heed your calls about the audio.
Yes.
The arcade provides special audio challenges due to the Faraday cage-like atmosphere here. So we have tried breaking out the big blue ball for another round, and we're going to see how this gets over. So we have heard your pleas, and we are working.
And hopefully this will be the end of the audio woes. But until next week, where we take a special look at 1980s DOS games. Hey, I think that went really well. That felt long.
It was long. It was real long.
This was our most watched live show.
Oh God!
21
Look
big
at
viewers.
Look right here at this curtain. Look at the man behind the curtain.
No!
Yeah, that's on your side. You got to take care of that.
Man, I did not.
The ball.
Well, that was not like that the entire show.
It was. Well, I noticed it when your review came up. I'll fix it in post.
Yeah, just put something.
You got to do those reviews before we move into the wheel.
I just forgot. I forgot.
I got to go back and edit that.
I know.
Did you see last week's show?
Yeah.
I had to chop that thing up with like a couple Ginsus.
It worked. It worked. Man, I love user reviews. And he always gives us good, solid material.
Graham gets in there and does it. I hope we can get some more good user reviews.
And the thing is, the reason why I said you have to switch to arcade was I couldn't get it to come up. I was having trouble the whole time getting it to come up.
Getting what to come up?
His review.
Oh.
I had read it before on Discord, but I couldn't get it to come up.
Why did you not use your laptop to bring it up? Why were you using your phone?
Because I'm logged in on this. I'm not logged in on my laptop.
You dumb. You dumb, sir.
Guys, thank you very much for the kindness and sitting through it with us.
Were they nice to us or did they maul us?
No, everyone was pretty kind.
Has the downvote kid struck yet?
He hasn't. I feel kind of sad we don't have any downvotes. He's a
mouse fan.
So people in chat, we've got a few new faces that at least new to me. Matthew was in chat. Thanks for hanging out. Paul, Joseph, Socks McCoy, Kate P.
Socks McCoy.
That's right.
I love that one.
Kate P. joined us today. Duncan Styles.
The Dunk.
Amiga Bang. Picard joined us.
We see some different people than we do on Amigos, which I think that's fun. I'm glad to see some other people.
Neville joined us.
Great wrestler.
Steve joined us as well, and Alec Mold. So yeah, it was out. Retro Tech and Toys is here too.
Great.
Yeah. What? A little long-winded.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding, eh?
Your section was huge, by the way.
Which one? The map? You mean Shufflepuck?
Yeah.
Listen, there's a lot to go into there. There's
a little long.
Listen, you can't ever get enough Shufflepuck, buddy. You didn't know what we were doing for the pre-show this week. Is that surprising to you? I was like, man, what am I going to do this week for the show?
No, I think that was an excellent choice.
I was like, man, so I just stumbled. There's not much written about a lot of this stuff, either the mouse stuff. I had to really do a lot of research to figure some of this stuff out. Like I was surprised.
I was interested in it, so hopefully they will be too.
Yeah.
Hopefully they will be. This was a week where I got to play both games in real depth.
Yeah.
So I had a lot to say about both of them.
Yeah. I thought it was refreshing. The mouse idea was good, you know.
Yeah.
We should get more poppies. We should ask for more. I didn't think about that. Well, we really need to have a format or something like taped on the back of that chair so we can. If you can see the ghetto setup we've got here, but before you guys all leave, did the sound seem better?
Yeah, guys, did you prefer this? Now this is technically a lower quality mic, but I believe that it is functional, which I question if both of our other mics were 100% functional.
I turned on the noise gate. I turned on compression. I tried to get everything to sound better. That was my goal. So I'm doing my best. I'm not an audio technician. And Boat has chastised me from now to doomsday about this audio. We got a lot of bad comments last time about the audio.
I don't know about a lot, but
no, we did.
Hey,
people are killing me.
Poor Aaron has to play and review 4 games a week.
Don't feel bad for me, man. Let me tell you something.
Don't cry for Aaron.
That's right.
Garbage.
What? No, this was a good week because I got to play Chase HQ and Spectrum.
Great game.
It's too hard, but the engine's very impressive, right? I got to play these 2 games here. And what did we do on Amigos this week? Gosh, that's pretty bad. I can't remember what we did. I remember liking the game. I can't remember what it was.
I watched your show and I can't remember what you did.
Another memorable performance from the Amigos.
It all runs
It's
together.
not out yet, so it doesn't have there. But I remember liking it too.
The live's out.
Well, yeah, but that technically is not out. It released on Monday. I don't know how that.
Lynx.
That's what it was. Lynx was fun. Bo didn't like Lynx very much.
It's not the best game.
The putting is horrible.
Yeah.
The putting is horrible. They need to work on the putting. They actually went backwards from world-class leaderboard, which I don't understand why they would do that, And also, you have to have a lot of patience to set to those load screens. Have you played the Amiga version? The IBM version where it surely builds the screen. Yeah. The Amiga version, it just says, it's a blank screen. It says loading background.
That kind of sucks.
Loading foreground, and then it just shows up. And it takes the exact same amount of time. So, but it looks nice. It's gorgeous looking when you play it.
Night Lore on Spectrum is great.
Night Lore. Okay. Who said that?
Socks.
Gosh, mention it. Socks, if you're on our Discord, freaking mention that. And I don't know if you're on the selection committee. I'm looking for any sort of even stuff that we don't put on the show. I'm dying to get a Spectrum. I've been telling Bo I'm dying to get one. So I'm looking hard. But I got to get one that I'm not gonna have to go through a lot of hocus pocus to get to work. There's this one they made in Portugal. I bid on one, but it didn't come with a power supply. It was untested. I was like, man.
Why in the world you
Listen, I did a lot of research on this. I can't go into it. It's a lot of, but it's a complicated issue, because the Spectrums they released over here were garbage. Yeah. They were garbage.
Yeah, they were.
So you got to go to Portugal to get one that's going to work, And Boat blew up the one we had. He left it on all night and it burned up. I know. Well, they don't have an on-off switch. It's not his fault.
Okay.
On-off. Would you hit the heat? Turn the heat back on, would you? I'm going to be out here I'm going to be playing a bunch of video games. I had a gimmick over here so we could play games and stream it while we're playing. But it's a pain in the butt, but it's doable. I did it last night. I didn't stream it, but I could have captured it. In fact, I've got the setup over here. See that?
That is too busy, man.
I'm not done yet. That's not the way it would look. That's the only frame I had. I didn't want to put a frame on it, but the arcade stuff would be here.
Yeah.
You know, it's a hassle. They don't make it easy, put it that way, but it's doable.
It's not bad.
All right, man. We'll shut this thing down.
Yep.
All right, thanks for showing up, guys.
Thanks. If anyone wants to give us audio feedback, do so in the comments below.
Audio feedback?
Yeah.
Oh,
feedback about the audio.
Hey, that'd be awesome. Audio feedback.
Well, you had a call line for a while.
Well, I didn't. That was a boat. I don't know why you got rid of that. I thought that was cool.
I thought it was
cool.
Hey,
but before we go, let's talk about Amigos 200, which me and Boat forgot to talk about again. You know, we're at like, we just recorded like I think episode 191. Like we're real close to 200. Close. And I've been thinking of what to do on a 200. You know, and here's what I've come up with. I want to have a lounge-like atmosphere where me and you and Boat and a few other select goofs come around and I want to have it so we can just sit back with a couple drinks and chat about the show. I don't want to do a game. I just want to chat about some games, and I want to take calls for people. I think that'd be fun to like just sit back and chat with people about what was going on, and we'll come up. I'm sure Boat's got some ideas, but I'm
sure they're far more extravagant.
Well, I know. Oh man, our gimmick just took a huge dip. Whatever you just did. So, all right, time to end the stream.
See you guys. Have a good one.